Hey guys, what's going on? It's Anna back. I hinted at MLD Wi-Fi, I believe, for either I think week. It might have been week 2. I think it was week 2 and the week 2 recap, I believe. Not sure. I could be wrong, but anyways, I'm very excited to be presenting MLD Wi-Fi Draft League. I don't know what we're calling it, but I'm really excited. I've never done a Wi-Fi league before because it always seemed daunting to me, but I finally have a chance to do it. It's a 7-week season, pretty standard. I have no idea if this is going to play the whole way out, but we'll see if it does. I hope it does. Because I've drafted, in my opinion, one of my best teams. On Pokemon Draft League Online, they have a draft planner, and on that I got a 93 out of 100. And to give you context, most teams that I make are in the 80s. The MLD Season 3 team was a 96. So this being a 93 isn't too bad. This team has a lot of mons that A, I haven't used, or B, I have used before and I've had pretty good success with. And the first mon here is Gmax Rillaboom. This was my first pick. It was 0 points. Like for Gmax's, it was tier 2. And it was 0 points. Tier 1 was Gmax Urshifu, which in my opinion should have been banned. And Gmax Libero Cinderace, which again, in my opinion, should have been banned. We restricted Gigantamaxes to, I believe, no speed boosting and no damage. No life orb, no banded, no stuff like that. Even though banded wouldn't work, but still, no life orbs, no scarfs, no choice banded, no life orbs, no expert belts. Yeah, I don't know, berries that increase those, I don't really know, but that doesn't really affect Rillaboom. Rillaboom still has a bunch of sets, even when it's not Gigantamax. It can, in my opinion, run Assault Vest pretty welly. It has a pretty good bulk stat with its defense at 216, for no investment, I think, and it has 177 SPDF non-invested, so giving it more bulk is going to be really nice for it, and it can take advantage of some moves on the physical side or on the special, whatever. So yeah, that's my first pick. I have used Rillaboom before, regular Rillaboom, in a league for I believe 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah, I have used this mon, but I mean, I don't really count it as usage unless I actually finish the season with the mon. So I will not be counting this mon. However, my next mon, Jirachi. This was actually my 5th or 6th pick. It was very late, or not very late, but for a first round, for my first tier 1 pick, this was pretty late. But yeah, we have Peggy the Jirachi. I mean, this mon can do so many things. It excels in so much as getting rocks up, subsets. Obviously, we know about banded or scarf for flinching. There's specs. There's stored power. So yeah, this mon is very versatile. It can take on a huge amount of roles, which is really good for this team because I'm gonna need some of those mons. I have used Jirachi before. It was, I believe, one of the top kill leaders in one of my leagues. Like, I definitely do have experience. 15 kills in, I believe, 5 deaths? Something like that. It's insane. So yeah, I do have experience with Jirachi, and it's probably one of my favorite mons I could use in Draft League. It's up there with Kartana as one of my favorites because it just can do whatever you want, pretty much. Yeah, you don't really get too much hacks with it. Besides, of course, hacking other players. But like I said before, this mon can do a lot of things, which is really good. It has really good typing. Steel Psychic is really good. That's gonna start my Fairy Dragon Steel Core. It's gonna start Fighting Dark Psychic Core, and I already have Rillaboom for my Grass Core. So let's move on to my first tier 2 pick, and that's gonna be Mandibuzz. So Crudes is actually, I don't understand how I was able to be able, I don't understand how I have so many OU mons on this team. Like, you're gonna see just the sheer amount of it. But Mandibuzz is a really good defensive pivot. I don't think it takes a brain to know that. It has access to Roost. It has Toxic. Well, I don't know if Toxic. I don't know how the sets are gonna work, if it's Battle Stadium sets only or whatever, but pretty much this mon can get Toxic. This mon Roost, Tailwind, Defog, U-Turn, Foul Play, Knockoff. It has so much moves it can take advantage of. Brave Bird. It's just an amazing defensive pivot. It can recover. It pretty much does everything you need, and very well. Usually I don't pick tanks with my top tier picks, but I think I can make an exception because this team definitely needs a really good pivot and just a really good defensive tank, and this mon can provide that utility pretty well. So yeah, that's Crudes. Let's move on to, I believe, my second of 4 tier 2 picks, and that's going to be Haxorus Tomahawk. So Tomahawk is really cool. You're gonna see later how well this mon fits with this team. Who was Mandibuzz? It adds to my Fighting Dark Psychic Core. This adds to my Fairy Dragon Steel Core, and it's a really good addition. For Dragon types, usually you want them to be your offensive just gold mine. It can just strike out every time and just hammer and wall break and possibly sweep sometimes. That's what you want from your Dragon type, and Haxorus is insanely good at doing that. It's tier 2, which I think that's fair for it. I could probably make an argument for tier 3, but I think tier 2 is fine. And yeah, either way, I got Tomahawk, and Tomahawk Bandit is so good for it. It has pretty good speed, so it doesn't really need to worry about having trouble outspeeding mons. And yeah, I mean, if you are worried about that, Scarf is always right there for an option. And this mon has a max, or not even a max attack stat. I think it's without Adamant Nature, it's 393, which is massive. So even if you do run Scarf, you're still hitting things really hard. This mon also has a Lumberry, Swords Dance, Outrage sets. Yeah, I mean, the only downside is I can't really take advantage of Earthquake because I'm assuming my G-Max is coming most games, and I'm assuming this mon is probably going to be joining Rillaboom most games. So that is a downside, but I'm willing to take that downside. Our next mon is going to be... Oh, and I have used Mandibuzz before in the same league as Jirachi, but or in a different season, but same league as Jirachi, but I really didn't use it that much. That was pretty much starting out Gen 8. I'd say right now I'm the best I've been since probably April. So yeah, it's been a minute since I've used Mandibuzz, and yeah, let's move on. Next we have Rotom Heat. And usually I'm not one to pick up the Rotoms. I dabble in them sometimes. Sometimes I'll pick up like a Wash. I've used Wash before, I'm pretty sure. But besides from that, I haven't really used it, and with Wash I didn't have the best experience. So I've been kind of avoiding them recently, but I want to try them again because I feel like they're so good in draft. Like I said before, I think this is my last tier 2. Rotom Heat gives me an electric type. It starts at Electric Ground Poison Core, and it gives me a fire type, so that's going to be 2/3 of my Grass Fire Water Core. Rotom Heat can run heavy duty boots with Defog, Rotom Heat can run Heavy Duty Boots, Defog, Volt Switch. It can run Specs or Scarf with Trick, Overheat, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch. Can you see my point? It's really good at just A, annoying people, and B, just getting some damage. It has at level 100, it has 241 HP, uninvested, and 250 in both defenses, uninvested, which is pretty good bulk for a mon with only 241 HP. And most of the times you are going to be investing some HP into it, unless you're running it as a sweeper. But it's a really good tank in Draft League. Being able to tank a lot of attacks with the addition of Heavy Duty Boots, it can now just get in, and opposed to just taking 25%, now it has Heavy Duty Boots, so that makes defensive sets a lot more viable. Things like Pain Split are going to be really nice for this mon. It gets Nasty Plot, of course. It gets Trick. It gets Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp. Just really good mon. Really solid option for this team. Being able to Volt Switch around and things like it's counters. It's counters. Excadrill, which is a huge counter. Ground types with Mold Breaker or Mold Breaker mons that have access to Earthquake. Rock types. Ground types, water types. What do all of those types have in common? They're weak to our main man Rillaboom. So these two pair up really nice. So I think that just makes this team a lot more scarier. Rillaboom also gets access to U-turn, so these two can pivot into each other, which is insane. I mean, I think this is just gonna be an insane duo. Even though I don't have the best damage output on the special side with it, compared to Haxorus or compared to Rillaboom, this mon still does really nice as a special sweeper. With our next pick, we're going to actually dabble into tier 3, and this is a mon I've really wanted to try out for a while, and I didn't even notice how much I wanted to try it out. I died down in hype for it, and I was just like, I need a fairy type, but I need less weaknesses, and I need bulky, but it can maybe get some damage output. And we got ourselves Thomas the Galarian Weezing. This is tier 3. I've wanted to use this mon for a while. I haven't really gotten that chance to use it though. Most of the times it gets taken early off the board for some reason. In point leagues, it's usually like 10 points, 11 points, and then it just gets taken. Like, it's on my plan, it just gets taken. But this time I was able to secure it with, I believe, the 4th or 5th pick. So I did take it early, but I will definitely take this pawn. It has two really good abilities that I know of, Neutralizing Gas and Misty Terrain. It also has a Levitate, which is another really good ability. So 3 really good abilities. Misty Terrain can obviously, I don't think I drafted any on Birdamon, so I can't really take advantage of it, but that wasn't really why I drafted it. I don't want to bubble myself until taking Halucha and getting on Birdamons. I feel like that's just not my playstyle. Instead, something like Weezing Galar, which is a really good support mon. I mean, it gets Aromatherapy, Toxic Spikes, Pain Split, Memento, Toxic. Just it has really good support moves. And then it gets things like Strange Stream. Hell, I'm even thinking about running a set with like Blunder Policy Zap Cannon. Like, that could be something in this. I'm really excited for this mon. It can do a bunch of things, and we'll see how this mon goes. If it doesn't work out, I can always swap it. But everything on this team was not sniped. So I don't really need to worry about making trades unless later on in the season. So yeah, as soon as the draft finished, I just made this already. So yeah, let's go with our next pick, which is, I believe, another tier 3, and that's going to be Araquanid. And this is, and also this adds to my Electric Ground Poison Core and my Fairy Dragon Steel Core, and my Fairy Dragon Steel Core is now done. So boom, And next we have Bubbles the Araquanid. So I did snipe someone with taking this mon, and I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I mean, I have used Araquanid multiple times in Draft League. I used it in Monotype. This mon can consistently either A, catch people off guard, or B, provide really good support. For tier 3, it's a really good option. I don't think this mon should be tier 2, and I don't think this mon should be tier 4, so it's kind of stuck in tier 3, where it's really good in tier 3, but it's not good enough to be in tier 2. And just taking Araquanid, like I said before, gives so much support for this team. It gives me sticky web support, which is the most important reason why I drafted this mon. Not only does it have really good bulk and a decent enough attack stat, it also has sticky webs and a really good typing. Bug water, even though fire is now neutral, fighting is now resistant, so it's a really good wall in that sense. And yeah, I mean, this mon is just really good at what it's doing. It's a wall. It benefits a lot from heavy duty boots. It can still run sash. It can, if you go offensive with this mon, which I'm planning to do at least once, you can run Mystic Water or Choice Banded Liquidation with Water Bubble, which lowers the power of fire moves done to the mon, prevents the mon from getting burned, and what it doesn't mention is that it doubles the power of water type moves, which is just insane. It's a huge benefit, and it can't get Scald Burned, which is insane. Its other ability, Water Absorb, is really good for mons like Dracovish. Unfortunately, Dracovish is not in this league though, so but still, it's still a really good switch into water types. It gives me a water check for mons like Lantern that want to switch in, even though they can just turn around and click Volt Switch. It's still really good for mons like that. And yeah, I mean, it's just a really good support mon, and yeah, really good tier 3 option. So my next pick is Cofagrigus, and this is, I've never used this mon before. A lot of people have used it against me, and it's always done pretty well. I have used its Galarian form, which is Runerigus, for about half of the Draft League. And I mean, I did find success with it, but I think this mon is a lot better than Runerigus, although Runerigus has 3 immunities, I believe, and this mon only has 2, and it loses its ground, whatever. This mon only has 1 weakness, and that's Ghost, or 2 weaknesses, and that's Ghost and Dark, which are common. I mean, Knockoff is definitely bad for this mon, but it's definitely better than having a an unnecessary water weakness, an unnecessary grass weakness, and an unnecessary ice weakness that are 3 pretty offensive typings. At least water and ice are 2 offensive typings. Grass being a little bit more defensive, but obviously Giga Drain, which is a special move which Runerigus does not appreciate, obviously does hit it. So yeah, I mean, you just have a lot of unnecessary weaknesses, and compared to this mon, which just doesn't have those weaknesses, it's really good for it. This mon gets Toxic Spikes, this mon gets Memento, this mon gets Will-O-Wisp, it gets, I believe, Toxic, Pain Split, Curse, which, oh man, don't even get me started with Curse. Curse block is really good, because it ensures at least a KO. And then you can just Pain Split and protect and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's just a really solid mon. It's really good support. You can run Nightshade on it. You can run Rest on it. Rest, Sleep Talk, Nightshade. I'm guessing Calm Mind could be a set if you want to raise your special defense too, so that you're just this insane bulky wall. That could work. Yeah, this mon is just really good for tier 3. Maybe it should be tier 4, but I don't really care. I still got it. Next we have Comfy, which is tier 4, and I think this is a huge snipe. Comfy should be nowhere in tier 4. This mon is a tier 3 mon, because Triad is such a good ability. It can Calm Mind, it has pretty good speed, so it's already outspeeding things. this completes my Fairy Dragon Steel. Well, it's already complete, but it gives me a Fairy type, another Fairy type, and this gives well, what I can't think of, whatever its name is. Well, Mums. I named mine Mums, but Mums is a ghost type, so it gives me a ghost type. This, whatever. Anyways, Comfy. Let's talk about Comfy. So Comfy is mainly going to be running Triage. Triage, if you don't know, it gives priority to healing moves. This includes status moves, and it includes damaging moves. So moves like Giga Drain and moves like Draining Kiss are going to get +3 priority, as well as moves like Synthesis, and I don't think it gets Recover, but Recover would also get a +3, which, if you don't know, that is higher priority than Sucker Punch and Bullet Punch and Mach Punch and all those +1 and +2 priority moves, which is really good because that, and it's faster than, I believe, Extreme Speed. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be really, really good for breaking down walls. It doesn't even have that bad HP or defense, so you don't want to attack this thing on the special side, because it is with Calm Mind, it's just going to start getting stuff up. This mon also gets access to U-turn, which I think is a little underrated, because it gives it pivot options, and just being able to switch in and out and not really needing to predict as much is really, really nice for this mon. Yeah, I mean, it's just a really good tier 4 that should be in tier 3. This is my first tier 4 and not my last, because I also have another tier 4 which should be, I think it might be tier 4, but I think it could be tier 3. And let's just jump into it. I don't really need to say more about Comfy. I think it's pretty standard in what it does. But let's talk about this mon. So Hitmontop is very interesting because most of the time this mon is going to be running Intimidate, Assault Vest. It's really good at doing that, and just doing that. This mon got access to Triple Axle though, and its ability is Technician. It's one of its many good abilities. Technician, if you don't know, raises base power moves of 60 or under. So something like, let's say this mon gets Mach Punch. So Mach Punch would be boosted from 40 power to 60 power. Something like Bug Bite. This mon doesn't get it, but Scizor does. Bug Bite would be boosted from 60 to 90. So pretty cool. And with Ice Kick, whatever it's called, Triple Axle, that is going to be 180 base power move. Granted, it hits every hit. That is 180 base power. That is insane damage. Like, if you run Choice Banded Technician, that's going to rack up. That is definitely going to rack up. And it's not really limited to that. It can still run things like AV. It can still run Rapid Spin, which is going to be big for this mon. It is my only Rapid Spinner, because I needed a Rapid Spinner for this team. I mean, I have 2 Toxic Spikers and Sticky Webs. This team does need a Rapid Spinner if I want to keep both hazards up consistently. And this mon is really good at doing that. So yeah, that is Mulligan. Intimidate's really good. Technician's really good. It gets CC, Mach Punch, Bullet Punch, Rapid Spin, of course, Close Combat, Brick Break. It gets probably Toxic. All the standard moves like Sub, Protect. Yeah, I mean, this mon just gets a bunch. I believe it gets Iron Tail for some reason, so that's cool too. Yeah, this is a tier 4 for some reason, and I will definitely take it. So, with my last pick, I could have went several options. As you know, I already have a Steel type. This team is missing a Ground type, though, and that's going to be big because that makes Volt Switch very, very easy to be brought every week. And to limit that, I was looking for the tiers, and I was like, I need a good ground type, but I also need a good poison type. So that's why I picked Galarian Weezing, because I was like, how is this mon tier 3? How can I get away with this mon? So that left me with picking a tier 5 ground type, and there wasn't really the best options. There was, like, I believe, Mudbray, which, yeah, I mean, not the best option. So I decided to go with one of my favorite mons, not Alolan formed, Dugtrio, aka Skylar Sis, because Skylar Sisters don't fit apparently. This mon I think is very underrated, and I know it has very low defenses. I know it has very low HP. That's part of the reason why it's tier 5. But having a good ability like Tangling Hair paired up with the Sash, or its other ability Sand Force on sand teams, I'm pretty sure Tyranitar got drafted, so that's gonna be big. This one gives me another Stealth Rock user. This one gives me another Mementor. This mon gives me another Fast Mon that can Iron Head flinch. This mon gets high horsepower, so it's avoiding Rillaboom. This mon fits very well with my team, even though it has low HP, even though it has very low defenses, and frankly I'd rather have any other ground type, any other bulky ground type than this, but this mon still does fit. It's one of my least favorite Pokemon, but it has the form of one of my favorite Pokemon, which is Dugtrio, and I don't know, I can respect that. But yeah, Tangling Hair, really good ability. It's going to lower that speed stat as long as you make contact, which is going to be big for Sash sets, like I said before. This mon can also effectively run subsets, which is insane for a mon like this. If it can correctly get one prediction, this mon can just start going and just going. I've seen Life Orb sets work with it. Yeah, I mean, this mon is just very, very solid. Its big weakness, though, is definitely lack of defenses. But even then, still a really good option. Still a really good mon, in my opinion. I think it belongs in tier 5. You can make an argument for tier 4. I've seen this mon in tier 4 multiple times, but yeah, still a really good mon. And that's gonna round out our team. So yeah, so let's go from the top. So we have our amazing Swampy, the G-Max Rillaboom. We have Peggy the Jirachi. We have Cruz the Mandibuzz. We have Haxorus, or Tomahawk the Haxorus. We have Ovi the Rotom Heat. We have Thomas the Galarian Weezing. We have Bubbles the Araquanid. We have Mums the Coffagrigus. We have Flora the Comfy. We have Mulligan the Hitmontop. And we have Skylar Sisters the Dugtrio Alolan. It's the Skylar Sisters. That's okay, whatever. So yeah, that's gonna be my team. I'm really excited for this league. I'm probably gonna be doing power rankings for this league, and let me tell you, this is gonna be very rough for power rankings. Because it's based. I just need to say this: power rankings is based on team, not based on player. You could be the best player but have the worst team and still win the whole thing. It's mainly just based off team. Multiple times I've had the worst team in power rankings, and I've still at least outperformed those because I'm just a better player. I don't want to sound too braggadocious, but I do consider myself a good player, and most of the time I will do better than what my draft prediction is. So please take these with a grain of salt. This is just my personal opinion. And yeah, I'll see you guys with power rankings and with week 3 and all that fun stuff next time. Have a good day and peace out, boys.